yeah, I guess they do.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't think it's gonna make much of a difference.
Okay.
Because they're using it right now.
Okay. And maybe once things get done, it'll be different, but okay, I think that's all my.
Question about baseball. The orientation is exactly the same. Did we look at changing, bringing it down and going towards changing the orientation of that ball field to maybe prevent Mr. Ridinger's house being hit a little bit more and having less netting?
Look at that, you still have property on the southwest corner, residential property, and you would be in the same situation where you have houses actually closer. If you would turn that 180 degrees.
No, I'm saying if you take it, pull it down to the bottom, in this particular slide, the bottom corner would be home plate, heading towards, say that home plate is still North Street. At the other end, with the outfield going towards the football field, you've got a warehouse that's X number of feet behind, and our own school buses and property off the left-hand side, and then the one house that would be the length of the home run on the first base side.
My first concern would be orientation, solar orientation.
Okay.
That's like the worst orientation just because of the setting sun. And your infielders would be looking right in the setting sun. Line drives and setting sun are not good. Good combination.
That's why we asked the question.
And also, I think you could still see foul balls down the first base line, running down Newark Street and
But they
getting
wouldn't
into
hit
this.
Mr. Reiner's house.
Still potential.
But our infielders will get hit with the ball.
Now, is there a possibility, would
Line drives.
possibly pulling the field forward a few more feet help out in any way, shape, or form, or is there not enough property there to do that now that the bleachers are gone and the existing pathway would obviously be taken?
You could probably move it maybe up to 10 feet, but I don't think that would really eliminate any foul balls, that 10 feet. The actual orientation and how the field sits is about as good as it can be in that area. Plus, with shifting it, now you're doing a total renovation, basically stripping everything off and redoing everything. The intent with the baseball, I think your grades are good. There's a lot of up and downs and some renovation that's needed, but basically your bases should stay where they're at because the overall construction is sound. I think you're most economical just to work on your outside.
Anybody else have any other questions?
One more thing. I know we have to do the permit for softball because of reorienting the field and with everything what's going on up there. Is there a way that we could do baseball before the softball and get that done earlier? Or do we have to do them together?
But it's just, if the equipment would be there for both of them, would be advantageous financially to do them at the same time.
Because it would be two separate move in and outs.
The permitting is the biggest challenge right now because they're requiring us to combine both of those. So
Fine.
basically they'll be both ready to go. If you would decide to phase the construction, I don't see there would be a major issue there because of the distance between the two. It's hard to say, if it would be advantageous from a financial standpoint.
That's something we could look at maybe down the road if this is road.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, and
why
you
not?
have to worry about the perception that you did the boys before the girls and girls before.
But if we made the understanding that, look, we have to, because the softball field is so close to the construction and due to the acronym permit that we have to do.
Does that permit apply to the baseball field too, or does it just apply to the high school property?
Baseball field too.
So
They have a
because it's all
provision.
lumped in, that's, yeah, okay.
Both would be required. So.
Because if you push it down the road, then potentially it would be more expensive than what we have a lot of work now. So maybe we should all happen at one time and just do it. Pull it off and be more advantageous.
Unfortunately, things don't get any cheaper.
Yeah.
Lighting for softball.
It was not a question I had. I mean, it can be added. One other thing I did want to mention, I know I talked to Mr. Trone, he's interested in getting water to that softball field, which will greatly help the turf
Okay.
established. That would be another thing to consider. I know there's, we would like to get electric into the dugouts. We are going to need to get a service down there to do that. Electric for the scoreboard. If lighting would be a component, it can always be added.
All right, yeah, we would have to because the boys have it at this point, so therefore, if we change anything to the field, the young ladies get that opportunity too. So that would be something that has to be on that. At least put that on for consideration. So. Any other questions? I appreciate it, thank you.
Sure, absolutely. Take the time.
Victor and Shoemaker will be in touch with you.
So we won't hear anything for a year from you.
If you want me to come, I can come anytime. If you want to hear from me, I'm happy to speak.
That's the schedule, usually you'll come back in a year.
Yes,
Hopefully.
quicker than that. Ideally. Thank you.
Thank you. Carolyn's up, and hers are for priorities for program funding and student success.
Hello, everyone. So a little background information first. I'm going to tell you a story of where we are and how we got to where we are today in our People Service Department. So you should have the handout in front of you. It's not, my words are going to just kind of overview what you have in front of you. So I've been tasked with making a clear interpretation of our district-wide integrated school mental health, behavioral, and academic initiative. There is a clear data for the direction we pursued as a district regarding the solutions we have sought since 2016-17. It seems so long ago that we as a district had a staff of one psychologist. That psychologist left us in 2016. At that time, we needed to replace him. Unfortunately, we were unable to hire a district employee due to lack of availability. With that being said, that position was filled with an outside contractor. The problems with mental health, behaviors, and academics kept expanding. In 2016-17, we had a significant need for behavioral support. With PDE mandating a 339 counselor plan for college and career readiness and academic planning, the counselors came to Mr. Bigger and myself to express concerns in being able to navigate the PDE mandate and the increasing behavioral needs of our students. Our solution? The board acknowledged the need for a behavior specialist and a mental health counselor, beginning the fall of our 2018 school year, as the title of my presentation. Our mental health counselor would come on board as a district employee, and the behavior specialist would be contracted due to lack of availability. So let me make sure that I'm clear. That would include a contracted psychologist, a contracted behavior specialist, and a district employee of a mental health counselor. So, from 2018-19 through 2021, the results from adding our additional staff includes being able to support the 4 intensive learning support classrooms district-wide, 2 emotional support classrooms, supporting all teachers with behavioral and academic interventions through the child study team, through threat assessment, evaluation, and social and behavioral skills group, and the mental health counselor providing individual and group therapy to students K-12. You can already see how this vital team is evolving since 2016 to support district-wide, integrated, behavioral, mental health, and academic needs for our students. Thus, directly allowing the counselors to focus on school counseling, teachers to focus on academics, and the specialized support coming from the additional staff. As you can imagine, we felt very good about maneuvering through these increasingly difficult times those years. But 2020, in comes COVID. In 2021, we had identified yet another district-wide problem. The staff survey from results from a 2021 magnified the 2016-17 concerns with an unfortunate increase in mental health and negative behaviors impacting learning. We began to work through the quandary with board support and ESSER funding. We needed additional staff to support the predicament we were in. Solving our mental health and behavioral dilemma with our current 2016-17 staff would not be possible. So with our ESSER funding, which had specific criteria for mental health, we were able to build a team of 2 psychologists, 2 behavior specialists, 1 mental health counselor, they were all contracted, and 1 mental health counselor that was an LASD employee. Our results are staggering, being able to divide and conquer with elementary and secondary, providing more intensive support, supporting those intensive learning support classrooms, supporting those emotional support classrooms. We were able to add an additional high school emotional support classroom, supporting all teachers with behavioral and academic interventions, and the mental health counselors providing individual and group therapy to all our students. The additional staff allowed us to be able to service the district's increase in the number of students needing support, the ways our teachers and counselors needed our support, and thus resulting in a positive result in our mental health, behavioral, and academic district-wide initiative. So all of that brings us to currently 24-25, as we have navigated this since 2016. We have made many fiscally responsible changes to what we saw as our initial problem in 2016, meaning we saw as a board, administrative team, and district this problem was not going away. Rather, it was only increasing. We needed to be able to sustain this district's needs financially as we tactically navigated the future. So we currently have 4 in-house employees saving the district money, as it is always more fiscally responsible to have our staff rather than contracted services. So in 23-24, the behavior specialist and the mental health counselor became our employees. In 24-25, the 2 school psychologists became our employees, and we currently have 1 contracted employee, the behavior specialist, who is funded through PCCD funding. The staff supports our entire K-12 students, all our teachers, and have allowed us to continue to service the increasing needs of our district. So what can we celebrate? We can celebrate that since 2016, we as a district, which includes all of you and our previous boards, have navigated through trying times by prioritizing mental health, behavioral matters, and academic concerns which directly support our teachers and staff. We can celebrate 4 in-house employees and the cost savings that provides, as well as the PCCD money funding our contracted staff. We can celebrate outside placements down from 44 in 2021 to 14 in 2024, a huge cost savings for us. We can celebrate that we have been able to maintain special education costs from 2018-19 to present at or below $2.2 million, which is only an 8% increase over 7 years, as compared to my colleagues in Adams County seeing anywhere between 20 and 30% increase. 2 huge wins and more cost savings of our district. We also can celebrate high school bullying referrals, 144 in 2017 to 67 in 2024. We can celebrate secondary suspensions down 45%. And students referred for behavioral and or academic supports, 210 students on average every year are being supported with academic or behavioral supports K-12. I've clearly communicated the 2016 to today's story of our district problems and solutions regarding our district-wide mental health, behavioral, and academic initiative. Now you can see the necessary steps we have put in place to get necessary results for our district. We remain committed to the district obstacles, looking at ways to be more fiscally responsible, more ways to integrate and utilize our staff, and more ways to proactively support K-12 students, teachers, and staff. Any questions?
Any other questions? Wayne, we'll go with
Chairman, thank you. Thank you. On the heart of this, it helps me better understand the whole district. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate it. No,
No questions?
No, you're good. No, she gave me everything I need now. Thank you so much.
Steve? No questions? Nick? Brian?
No, thank you.
Jeannie?
Well, I have
Jeannie?
I have too many questions. I have one.
You're last. That's why I kept you for last, Don. So you can ask all you want. Jeannie, did you have any?
I just want to know, what is actually mandated by Pennsylvania Department of Education, if anything? Like, I think the classrooms are great. Is that something that we came up with? Is that something that's normal practice, or is that
You mean
something-
these classrooms that I have?
Yeah.
So in order to support those students with their needs, we
Right.
need to have special
Yeah.
classes for them.
We came up with that, or is that like
Well-
normal practice?
It's becoming more and more normal because
Yeah.
prior, the LIU used to have all these classes.
Right.
So they stopped, so we started doing them, and our district started taking them back, because also it's a cost savings for us.
Right,
So those classes have always been around.
right,
They're
okay.
nothing new.
Just more
Right.
buses were heading this
Yeah.
way and that
Well,
way.
that's-
Did you have more?
And then, well, go ahead.
Oh, Joe, she's going in for half hour, so that's fine. All right.
Do you have a question, Brian?
No. I just wanted you to make a point, or at least reinforce the point, that you're probably the first school in Adams County, and probably one of the first in York County as well, to really move most of the stuff in-house, where we got back in, what, was
Well-
it 18, 19, when we started hiring all these, additional.
Like the other, in Adams County, they didn't have mental health workers.
Right, so we were the first to really,
To do that,
The
yeah.
mental health part.
The other schools had their own, like they might have had an autism class
Right.
or a life skills class, but not as much as we do today.
right, I was just trying to remember, in a couple years.
Because all our students would go to different places
Right.
for an emotional support classroom or an intensive learning support classroom. They wouldn't be here.
So I just wanted
Services were
to
available, it's
support
just
with you in
because
there.
out
Yeah,
there.
we are.
The LIU used to run a lot of them.
Correct, there were services out there, and now you just brought it more.
It's all more.
Yeah, in order to save money, improve financial responsibility.
None of those words.
Okay.
Shows all you.
So this is just clarifying, so the positions that you have outlined here that we have, not the classrooms, but the other 5 positions that we have, that does not include our 2 counselors at ACES, Mr. McMaster and Mrs. Lee.
No, that doesn't include.
And that doesn't include
that's
Mrs.
school
Allison,
counselors. That does
just
not
school
include school
counselors.
counselors.
Right,
No.
okay. So I'm just thinking out loud, for our district, we have 5 in-house, then we have Mr. McMaster, Mrs. Lee, Mrs. Allison, and we have 2 others at the high school that I'm aware of, correct? That's 10, 3. That would be 11 total counselors that we have in our school district then for our students, correct?
If you're counting all of those, yes, yes. But they have different
Yeah,
roles.
but
They're different
guidance
roles.
counselors aren't the same.
The guidance
behavioral
counselors, like
Well, I know, but they kind of start out probably with a guidance counselor, right? Then they get referred to.
Not necessarily, no.
Probably
No.
great classroom teacher.
Classroom teacher, a parent,
Yeah, so
classroom
one of the
teacher.
things that Dr. Fiaski talked about was the
I'm trying
child
to
study
clarify,
team.
just so I can understand everything properly, but I know where I work at, does the children first see the guidance counselor in the school that they're in, and then they get referred to the other guidance counselors or other specialists and counselors
That's,
in the school district.
you are correct, that's one way that that can go.
Thank
Another
you.
way that we have is CST team, that I think Dr. Fiaski spoke about, our child study team, where the students can be referred or recommended to
Right.
the team.
By the
or
teacher.
by the
Yes.
teacher, by a parent, by anyone, to be able to identify what supports are needed or what may be needed. That might be a way that they bypass a school counselor before they, on their way to a mental health counselor or something else that's needed.
I just take clarification, because
Yeah.
the strategy
There's a
over
couple
here, so I wanted to make sure I was, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that, I appreciate that very much.
Any other
Do
questions?
parents really understand what we offer here?
I don't know, I hope they do, because we have a really great program that has been embedded in all of the things that we do with learning support and our students. And the money that we've saved is phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, all the parents that I've work with, or I share what we do, and I haven't had any, like, oh, you do that. It's like now, since we've been doing it, it's like, thank you, Carolyn, or thank the district for supporting our students at this point.
Maybe anybody have any questions? Carol? Thank you, I appreciate it. All right, Ms. Perriman, you're up. And Dr. Berryman, and your priority in the student success. Oh, I'm sorry, now.
I mean, not that I'm happy not to go, but
I was just thinking there was a new order.
I'm so used to being
Okay.
last every minute.
Sorry, you're up now, and yours is priority, student safety, and technology and success.
I just want to talk about two things this evening. Record retention schedule is something I'm working on with the admin team and Judy to go along with our policy 800, record retention, and policy 216, school records, to put together protocols and guidelines that we would follow with regards to retention and disposal of all records that encompass our school district. So it's identifying those different areas from business department, HR, human services, student records, contracts, school board policies, things of that nature, identifying those state and federal laws with regards to retention, and then what is a local decision with regards to